Let's meet at the library. Okay.
Hi everyone, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing my July wrap-up and I participated in 3 readathons and read a total of 17 books. Who am I? So let's just dive in because there's a lot to talk about and we know that I can ramble. Oh, I do want to say quickly that even though I still have my same rating scale where I take an average of plot, characters, writing, pacing, and my personal enjoyment, so I still end up with like these weird decimals. For most of the lower scores, I'm just going to round them to like whole and half stars, but they do have very specific ratings, so if you want to see the breakdown on those, you can go to Goodreads. Most of these don't have full reviews, but they at least have the specific rating and breakdown for each of them if you're curious. Okay, so we are going to start with the 2.5 star reads, which, what are you gonna do? They're bound to happen. I have 4, womp womp. The first was a graphic novel that I read as an ebook, so I can't show you. It's called Beauty. I didn't love it. I really didn't know what it was going to be about going into it. I just knew it was like a girl who was ugly and then she wished to become beautiful and like what happens. But oh my god, it was so messed up. Like, I mean, the moment it was interesting because like the spell didn't turn her beautiful. She still looked the same, but like people perceived her as beautiful. So like that was an interesting idea. It was like the moment she became beautiful, men became frenzied and it was like dark. Like I'm talking sexual assault, rape, like she was like running away to avoid things and like people were going mad because they were obsessed with her. Like it was scary and I don't think I liked that very much. It's not what I expected. But then again, I don't know what I went into it expecting. It was just very weird. And I didn't even really love the art style, so that wasn't really working for me. I don't know. It could also be because it was translated from French that some things didn't end up quite sounding right, but it was just too much for me, so I'm just going to leave it at there. It wasn't for me, okay? But the ending was all right. Next, we have Inland, which I read as an ARC, can you believe? But I didn't love this. It just didn't really work for me. There are 2 main characters. This is like a Western that involves, I can't even talk. This is a Western that involves a housewife whose husband has gone missing and she lives with her 3 sons and her niece, or is it her niece or her husband's cousin? Whatever. And her niece is like, I see ghosts. And she's like, yeah, okay. And then there's the other point of view of a man who I believe was Turkish. It's been a while. I think he was Turkish. His name is constantly changing throughout the novel, so I don't know what to call him. And his like journey around the West, I don't know what to say about it. And eventually their paths intertwine, but I mean like eventually. Like it happened way too late in the game that I was like, I don't even care. This story should have been one point of view or the other because they're barely connected, like barely. So I don't know. I think I would have really liked, what's her name? Nora? Yeah, Nora was the housewife. If this book was all about her, I think I would have gotten really into it because parts of her storyline were very interesting and I liked the whole like family dynamic. It was interesting, but yeah, I didn't love it. It wasn't for me. So next, we also have a Dear Canada book. This is All Fall Down, the Landslide Diary of Abby Roberts. Obviously, I'm not the intended audience as an adult, so I will give them some credit there. But this book was so little about the landslide. Like, I remember reading Dear America books as a kid, and like usually they were about what they were about. Like the voyage on the Great Titanic, she was basically on the Titanic for the whole boat. You know, I'm trying to remember the other titles, like the ones that took place during the Civil War, like it was already happening. But this was like, we're moving. This is my family. Ugh, I wonder why my brother keeps saying that weird, mean stuff to me. Oh, well, it sure is interesting working in a hotel. Wow, we're by the mines. And then, like, finally, 80% of the way through, it's like, and a landslide. It's like, shouldn't it have been about, like, the aftermath and, like, how the community comes together and repairs this small town after a horrible natural disaster? I don't know. It was weird. But I will give this book credit because she has a little brother who has Down syndrome, and I have never read that in a book, and I really enjoyed that aspect. Though obviously, because it's historical, like the terminology they use about it isn't the same as we would use today. But our main character, Abby, and her mother, both especially, have a really loving relationship with him. So sweet, but, you know, probably an actual child should be reading this and not me. Okay. Next, we are getting into the books that are in the 3-star range. First, we have Every Day by David Levithan. I actually still really like the idea of this story. I just did not care about the romance at all, and that's what the book is about. Like, I'm sorry, it's a romance book. And so I was like, I don't care about your relationship. But I did love seeing A wake up in a different body every day and learning about those people. Like, that was dope. I loved that. I was a little uncomfortable when he woke up in the body of a fat character, or not character, a person. That was the only time when I was like, the way you're talking about this human is really disrespectful. Like, for the most part, he was like really kind and sympathetic towards everyone. Like, he woke up as an illegal immigrant. He woke up as a drug addict. He woke up as like all these different people, and he was like, oh, it's so hard. I'm gonna try to help them. He woke up in the body of a girl who was suicidal and like did his best to help her. Like, serious things. And then when he woke up as a fat man, he was like, ugh, I can't even move. I feel so ugly. Ugh. And I'm like, really? I don't know. That just didn't sit right with me. But other than that, and other than the romance, a decent book. Like, I don't regret reading it, but I won't reread it. I did really like the ending, though. It ended the way I wanted it to end. Though I didn't predict it, but it was like, yes, very satisfying. My other 3-star book is Death Comes to Pemberley. I haven't been saying authors at all. That's fine. You guys can read or look these up, whatever. This is a Pride and Prejudice kind of sequel, in which the Lydia and Wickham are on their way to Pemberley as a surprise to be like, haha, we're crashing your ball. But on the way, there's a murder. Dun, dun, dun. And this was kind of all right. My biggest complaints really were, one, Elizabeth was barely a character, and that's so sad because she's like such a shining light in the actual original Pride and Prejudice. For her to like barely be featured in this book is just kind of a waste, in my opinion. And then also, I had already seen the miniseries, so it was kind of predictable for me. And there's like a subplot of a little romance that happens with Georgiana Darcy, and I felt like that was highlighted better in the miniseries. So yeah, it was just all right for me. Also, I can't remember if the ending was the same, but I feel like it wasn't. And if it wasn't, then I liked the miniseries ending better also. So there's that. Okay. I just have one book that fell into that 3.5-star range, and that's Grim Lovelies by Megan Shepherd. Now, I love Megan Shepherd like so much. Her other series, the Madman's Daughter trilogy, is just like We love some gothic-inspired historical sci-fi. And The Cage, oh my god. If you haven't heard me talk about The Cage, what rock have you been living under? Because I'm obsessed with that trilogy. And it's about aliens, okay? I don't read sci-fi, but I love those books because the characters are so good, except for Cora, the main character. She's kind of a dud, but all the supporting characters are amazing, so it's worth it. Sorry, that's not what this is about. This is her most recent duology. I'm currently reading the sequel, so I don't know how it ends yet. I just didn't love, I don't know, it was like, it's really interesting. It's this world in like modern day France, see the Eiffel Tower, where there are like goblins and witches and royals who are like witches but more powerful, and pretties, which are just like regular people, but then there's also beasties, which are animals that are magically transformed into people. So it's like got this whole magical hierarchy thing, and our main character is a beastie. But I don't know, like I didn't feel that connected to most of the characters. Like I think my favorites were probably Cricket and Luke, but we didn't see him that much, and like Bo by default because he was like the nice guy, and I'm always like, oh, what a little sweetheart, but that doesn't mean I love him just because he was nice. It just meant I was like, yeah, I don't hate you. And I'm actually really interested in Prince Renard. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but that's how I say it. And he's becoming more featured and more interesting in the second book, so I'll let you know if I actually like him as a character, but I'm interested in him as a character. It was just a lot of world building, so it was hard for me to get into, and I don't know. If you like a nice heist story, I guess this is kind of that, so you might be into it, but I've been talking about this long enough. I'm going to move on. It was just okay, but I didn't love it as much as Megan Shepherd's other books, which was a little disappointing for me. Okay, all of the following books were at least 4 stars. I'm going to give you the specific breakdowns now since there's like very specific distinctions at this point. But yeah, so the following books I all really, really liked. This is Blood and Sand. I gave it 4.2 stars. This is just, ooh, some fun stuff. So this is like if Spartacus was a girl. So it's like very ancient Roman drama, gladiators, battles, tribes. So like if violence disturbs you, this isn't the book, because obviously like lots and lots of gladiator fights, lots of fights in general. There's some domestic violence. So if all of that's going to bother you, this isn't the book for you. But if you can handle those things, I think it was a really interesting read, and I'm very excited about the sequel because I think it's supposed to be just a duology, so it would be the conclusion. And it was cool. Some fun like politics, some drama, like, and I tweeted about this book because if you play choices, no one does. It's like one of those like like one of those apps like Episode, but it's not as bad as Episode, where it's like just read the story and make choices. This is very uncannily like A Courtesan of Rome, which is one of my favorite books on that app. So that's a good pairing if you're into that. I don't know where I'm going with this. 4.4 star books, we have an audiobook that I don't own, The Sea of Monsters, which is the second book in the Percy Jackson series. It was really cute. I really enjoyed it. I'm like becoming very attached to these characters. I'm excited to keep going in the series. I don't know if you could hear that I just got a text message. My only problem was that I wanted more Luke and we didn't get a lot of Luke. So there you have it, but I really like, it's my hair. I'm really liking the development of Percy and Annabeth's characters, and I liked that Grover wasn't like actually gone from the story. So yes, it's all looking good in this series. I get why people love it so much. Also at 4.4 stars, I have Midsummer's Mayhem by Rajani LaRocca. I buddy read this with Jocelyn from Yogi with a Book, and it was so cute. Oh my gosh. This is about our sweet little main character, Mimi. She is Indian American and she bakes, and it's also a retelling of A Midsummer Night's Dream. So there's like a lot of like little fantasy elements, like she'll bake something and then one of the ingredients might affect someone who eats it, and then it's like, whoa, what? So you get all of the classic plot points from the original play. So there are fairies involved, spoilers, you know, there's like the mixed up love interests, there's just silliness, a changeling involved, that kind of stuff. It was really sweet, really adorable, and if you enjoy middle grade or Shakespeare, I highly recommend it because it was so cute. And there are recipes in the back, and I really wanted to eat everything that Mimi was making because it sounded delish. I don't know why that was so aggressive. At exactly 4.5 stars, because it's a graphic novel and so there's like an art component, I have Audubon, On the Wings of the World. This is another book translated from French. Apparently that's a thing I was into this month. Sorry, I keep finding hairs on me. Cute. This is from the library, which is I'm holding it so weirdly. This was so rad. It's about the real life painter and scientist John James Audubon. He was actually a Frenchman, but he changed his name because he moved to America. And I'm trying to find like specific pages that I can show you guys that won't be spoilery, because I really dug this art style. Like, it was a lot of like nature and the American frontier. Is there a dang picture? Like, yeah, it's the first page. So it was just like really pretty, and you like saw, I can't show you any of these pages, dang it. Oh, I can't show you that. Like, here's a bear. So, I don't know, it was just like a lot of cool neutral colors. I just like the way it was drawn, and it was really good. I don't know what to say. I feel like I learned a lot about the man. If you've seen the movie American Animals, the book that they're stealing or trying to steal is his artwork. Oh, let me show you the real art because it's in the back. Yeah, I feel like I learned so much about him, which is really cool. And so, like, there's some hawks, I think. Yep, great-footed hawk, blue jays, wild turkey. Cute, love that for us. So I really enjoyed it. I'm not even saying anything about it other than I liked it. The only thing I'll say about this as well is there's like a lot of imagery of hunting and guns and shooting, because he didn't paint from life. He killed these birds and then posed them and then painted them. So if that's going to bother you, there's definitely some of that frequently. But it is really cool if you're into history, because it was very historical. I feel so sad for his wife, who he was just constantly leaving behind so he could travel and hunt birds. It's fine. But he did do like a lot for American science and wilderness, so right on, dude. Hold on, Jocelyn just texted me. I can't. She loves Margaret Robertson. Okay, 4.6 star books. Another audiobook that I can't show you because I don't physically own was Jane Austen at Home. This is nonfiction about Jane Austen, and I really liked it. Like, it was so cool to hear about all the places that Jane Austen lived in her life and learn about her family, because I'm very familiar with like the Austen canon, her 6 main novels, and to an extent some of her smaller works, but I really knew next to nothing about her as a person, so it was really rad to just know who she is and what she did in her life. Like, I didn't know she had all these like potential husbands that just didn't pan out. Like, that's wild. yeah, so I feel like I learned a lot about her. So if you're into Jane Austen, I highly recommend it. And I like that her works and like the way they tied into her life were sprinkled throughout. So it was like chronological to her life, but talking about things in her novels that tied to her life as we went along. That was really cool. Also, at 4.6 stars, oh my gosh, was The Girls at the Kingfisher Club. This book, this book was pretty cool, you guys. It is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, except it's the 1920s and they're flappers. Hello. So yeah, it's about these 12 sisters who sneak out of their house to go Charleston and such. And, you know, things go awry. It was really good. It focused, I mean, definitely the most on the oldest sister, which I feel like in a book about 12 characters, you can't really just have 12 points of view because that would be exhausting. But I do wish we got we did get a lot from all the sisters, but there are some sisters I wanted more from. Like, I was really interested in Lily and Rose, who were a pair of the twins, but like one of them was a lesbian, which was cool, but like we hardly heard about them. And then like Ella was really cool. I wanted more from Ella. She was like the one who was into movies, and I don't know, but I did like Jo, the oldest sister. I don't know. Oh, it was really good. I definitely was feeling feels. There were times when I was like, I'm tearing up a little bit. The ending made me emotional. And it also has like a little bit of a taste of, you know, in Hamilton, that whole like Angelica, Eliza, Hamilton, like, oh, I don't know what to do with this situation love triangle. There's like a little hint of that, which I just kicked the tripod, which it was doing it for me. Yeah. So the lighting probably looks different, maybe even the camera angle. My roommate came home and I felt awkward about filming, so I just stopped. But now she left, so I'm back. Okay, we were at the creme de la creme, the 4.8 star reads, the books that were this close to perfection. And the first one I want to talk about is Proposal by Meg Cabot. This is a novella in her Mediator series, which, if you're not familiar with it, is like this paranormal romance about a girl who can speak to ghosts, and it's fantastic. The first 6 books in the series are YA, and then this novella and the last book in the series are more adult because it's just, she ages up as characters do. So that's it. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. I love Suze with my whole heart. I love Jessie with the rest of my whole heart. And it was just fantastic. And this series like always makes me laugh. Like, it's just something about it. It's just hilarious. So yes, really, really good. Next in the 4.8 reads is Emma by Jane Austen. This is, as of now, my official favorite Jane Austen novel. Yes, that's right. I like Emma more than Pride and Prejudice, more than Sense and Sensibility, more than Persuasion. Those are the only 4 I've read. So this is the top. I think the contender that could beat this is Mansfield Park, but we'll see. I love Emma so much. I love Emma as a character. If you're not familiar with this classic, it is about a girl named Emma Woodhouse, who lives with her father. Her older sister's married, and Emma loves making matches. So the beginning of the book is her like previous like governess kind of is getting married or just got married, and Emma was kind of the one who set that match in motion. So she's really proud of herself, and she spends the rest of the novel being like, I'm gonna give everyone love, except turns out she's actually an awful matchmaker and she doesn't understand how to read people, and it's so just fun and charming. And I love Emma's character growth. I love Mr. Knightley, and it's just a really good book. And this is one of the cases where we get not just one, but two handsome rogue characters. One more rogue-ish than the other, but still, I think that's the case. So if you like the movie Clueless, it's based on Emma, so you might enjoy it. Just a fun fact. Okay, the last 4.8 star read that I have is Star-Crossed. This book just was the cutest. It totally lived up to my expectations. This is a middle grade book about a girl named Maddie who auditions for her 8th grade production of Romeo and Juliet, and like as this play is being announced, she's like, I'm not really into it, but once they start learning about it in class, she becomes like obsessed with Shakespeare, and she's like reading it on her own time at home, memorizing passages, reading it, acting it out in the bathroom mirror, and I'm like, oh my god, I am Maddie. Maddie is me, because that's exactly what I was like at her age. And then she also has this crush on this boy, and she's like, I can't tell if he's into me, so she kind of like does this little test to, you know, like see how he feels about her. But then while she's kind of getting over that crush, she's like, wow, I can't stop thinking about that new girl. That new girl sure is talented. That new girl sure is pretty. And lo and behold, she's bisexual, and it's really cute. And this book just has everything I love. I ranted about it on Twitter because it has familial, I can't even say it. It has familial relationships that make you want to cry. It has Shakespeare quotes and general nerdiness. It has really cute, like, friend things. If you're a theater person, you'll appreciate, like, all of the time spent at rehearsal and, like, just the little actor cast bonding things. It was just really cute. I can't recommend this enough, so love it. Finally, we have, my shoulder just cracked, the holy grail of the month of July, my one 5-star read, full 5 stars, 0 complaints. I actually listened to this as an audiobook, but then immediately ordered a physical copy because I need it with the fire on high. You guys, I love this. I mean, I just got makeup on it. I knew this was going to be my kind of contemporary because it's about a teen mom, and I love a teen mom narrative. They've yet to let me down, except in, what's that Katie Cotugno novel? That one let me down. What was it called? But this, Speed of Life, yeah, just give me the teen mom stories. I love it. I eat that up for breakfast. This book was beautiful. I cried about 7 times. Like, things would happen. Suddenly I'd be like, oh, wow. Like, the feelings would just hit me. Sorry, let me actually talk what this is about. I'm just overcome with emotion, so I didn't even think to talk about, like, the actual plot. It's about a high school senior? I feel like she's a junior. Anyways, this story is about a girl named Imani who had, she got pregnant her freshman year of high school. So she's a mom. She lives with her grandmother. She's Afro-Latina. Her dad lives in Puerto Rico. And it is just all these different factors in her life and how they play into her passion for cooking. Like, that's where she feels at home, is in the kitchen. And she just, like, adds her own flair to everything. And she's, like, you know, kind of like a natural chef in a way. Like, she's just got a good feel for flavors and spices and things. But then she gets this opportunity to take, like, a cooking class at her school, which actually has, like, a trip abroad involved, and there's, like, all this stuff, and there's a romance and her best friend and I just loved everything. It was so good. Read it. You guys just read it. And also, the most beautiful hardback to ever grace your eyes. I mean, come on. Purchase this book. Okay. Just me and my girl hanging out. So yes, that is all of them. That is it. That is the 17 That is the 17 books that I managed to read in the month of July. So 8 of those 17 were audiobooks. So actually, only half of them. I'm kind of impressed with myself. Wow. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave me your thoughts on any of these books down below. If you've read them, what you thought of them. If you haven't read them, will you? Are you going to stay away from any of these books, or have I brought your attention to any of them? Let's talk about it, man. And also, if you did the reading rush, tell me how it went for you, because I mean, I didn't say specifically which of these fulfilled which challenges, but if you also watched my TBR, you would know that I actually crushed it. I absolutely crushed the reading rush, and I'm really proud of myself. So, yes, that is it. Like I said, be sure to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment, and you'll be seeing more of me soon. Bye!